Good morning. Okay. I'm Jim Staub, and I want to welcome you to the annual State of the University Address and the opening of a new school year at the University of Montana. This morning, we're going to start off with a series of introductions and recognitions. First, I would like to introduce the executive officers of the university. Jim Foley, Executive Vice President and Assistant to the President. Robert Duringer, Vice President for Administration and Finance. Teresa Branch, Vice President for Student Affairs. Daniel Dwyer, Vice President for Research and Development. Laura Brem, President and CEO of the University of Montana Foundation. On stage are the academic deans at the university. Each dean will introduce the new faculty from his or her school or college. You all were provided with a booklet where you can read more about each new faculty member of our academic community. And with that, we'll start with the introductions. First is Dean Gerald Fetz of the College of Arts and Sciences.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2006-2007 academic year on behalf of the College of Arts and Sciences. The college consists of 21 departments and numerous interdisciplinary program centers and institutes, so as your program indicates, we have quite a few personnel changes this year. I'd like to begin by introducing some new administrators in the college and ask them to stand, and if you'll hold your applause until I'm finished with all of my presentations, that will save us a little time. First of all, I'm very happy that we have two new associate deans this year. Carol Brewer, who is a professor of biological sciences, has joined the dean's office staff, as has John Tompkins, who is a professor of political science and the former chair of that department. We also have a new associate dean who will be leading the Division of Biological Sciences, Charles Jansen. He'll join us in January. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Eric Green, professor in that unit, who has stood in and done an excellent job as acting dean, acting associate dean. He will have served in that capacity come January for 2.5 years. We also have a number of new department chairs in the college, and I'd like to just mention them, and if they're here, ask them to stand as well. John Douglas has assumed the chairmanship of the Department of Anthropology. Casey Charles, the Department of English. Sarah Halverson will be the acting chair this year for the Department of Geography. Robert Acker is the new chair of the Department of Modern and Classical Languages and Literatures. David Beck is the acting chair this year for the Native American Studies program. Richard Walton is the new chair of the Department of Philosophy. And James Lopatch is the new chair of the Political Science Department. I want to welcome them all to the administration of the college. We have a number of new faculty, both tenure track and lecturers, that we're welcoming to the college and to the university this fall. And so I'd like to ask each of them to stand as I read their names, and you can read about them in your program here, and I hope you'll all have a chance to get to know them. It's an outstanding group. We're very, very happy and pleased with the results of our searches this past year. In the Department of Anthropology, we have new Assistant Professor Douglas McDonald. We have new Professor of Linguistics in that department, Mizuki Miyashita. And we have Gilbert Quintero, also a new professor, associate professor in that department. We've also hired for this past season another faculty member in that department, Sarah Horton, but she won't be joining us until next fall. In the Division of Biological Sciences, we have two new tenure track faculty members, and I see them sitting here in the front, so I know they're here. Crea Broiner and Art Woods, and they're both joining us from the University of Texas, Austin. In the Department of Chemistry, we have a new professor who will join us a little later this month, actually in September, Bruce Bowler, and I know he's in transit. In the Department of Communication Studies, we have new professor, Assistant Professor Jennifer Considine. And also not in your program, this happened a little too late for us to get it there, Christina Yoshimura will be joining as a tenure-track assistant professor. In the Department of Economics, we have Assistant Professor Amanda Dawsey. In the Department of English, we have Assistant Professor Eric Reimer. In the Department of Environmental Studies, we have Assistant Professor Dan Spencer. In the Department of History, we have Assistant Professor Robert Green. In the Department of Mathematical Sciences, in the area of statistics, we have Solomon Harar, will be Assistant Professor. We have quite a number of new faculty in the Department of Modern and Classical Languages and Literatures, and that's not because that's my home department. We have Assistant Professor Benedict Boisseron, who's joining us. We have Assistant Professor Mladen Kozvul, who's also joining us. Both of them are in French. In German, we have Assistant Professor Martin Marco. A lecturer in Spanish, we have Kelly No. And also in Spanish, Assistant Professor Naomi Shin. In the Department of Philosophy, recognizing that there are only 8 faculty to start with, it looks like a coup of the youth. But we're very happy to welcome assistant professors Bridget Clark, Armand Duell, Stephen Grimm, and Paul Munch. In the Department of Political Science, we're pleased to welcome Assistant Professor Christopher Musty. And in the Department of Psychology, Assistant Professor Jason Nelson. So I think you can all understand what we did last spring. I'd also like to end by congratulating all, but especially those faculty members in the College of Arts and Sciences who have achieved a variety of accomplishments during this past year. 20 of them who have been promoted, either to associate or full professor. We received 48 merit awards in the faculty of the college. 8 faculty received tenure. We have 17 faculty members on sabbatical assignment this year, and we have 7 faculty in the college who are on assignment as international exchange faculty at our partner universities abroad. So welcome to all of you.
Next, I would like to introduce Dean Larry Gianchetta, School of Business Administration.
Good morning. We in the School of Business are very excited to introduce to you 4 new faculty members. In the Department of Accounting and Finance, William Brown. And I'd like to add that we have a new chair in the Department of Accounting and Finance. Many of you know her, Terry Herron. In the Department of Information Systems and Technology, Clay Looney. In the Department of Management and Marketing, Michael Braun. And in the Department of also Management and Marketing, Simona Stan. I would simply add that these faculty members earned their rite of passage last night in our 21st annual faculty initiation party, which is always hosted by my wife, Dee Dee. Thank you.
Next is Dean Roberta Evans, School of Education.
We in the School of Education are thrilled to be welcoming 2 new assistant professors in the Department of Health and Human Performance, Dr. Charles Palmer, who teaches human performance, and Dr. Valerie Rich, who joins us in athletic training. Thank you.
Dean Shirley Howell, School of Fine Arts.
Thank you. The School of Fine Arts welcomes 3 new tenure-track faculty Wendy Stark in the Department of Drama Dance, Costume Design. In Media Arts, we have a new chair, Rick Hughes. Rick, if you would stand. Greg Twigg, Assistant Professor of Media Arts, and Mark Sjogren, who's unable to be here today. Thank you.
Dean Perry Brown, College of Forestry and Conservation.
Well, on behalf of the College of Forestry and Conservation, let me welcome everybody here to the start of school for this year. This is going to be a good year for the University of Montana. I think there's no doubt about it. A little bit of rain that we're having right now is very helpful to some of us, in our professions anyway. We have a couple of new faculty members that join us this fall. Neither of them happen to be here today. One's at a meeting and one hasn't arrived yet. But Mark Hebblewhite, who's assistant professor and ungulate ecologist, joins us in the Department of Ecosystem and Conservation Sciences. And then David Affleck, a biometrician who graduated from Yale University, is joining us in the Forest Management Department. We have a third person that we've hired but won't be here till next fall, and that is Karen Nelson from the University of Washington, a restoration ecologist. Thank you.
Dean Jerry Brown, School of Journalism.
The School of Journalism has no full-time new faculty members and thus is not in your program. But I do want to mention that we have at least three distinguished part-time faculty who will be here this year. The new Polner professor is Henrietta Lovich from Germany, a correspondent for newspapers and wire services. In broadcast, Gita Sadie, who is a producer for PBS's First American series, and also John Saul, who is the retired Metro editor of the Seattle Times. Thank you.
Dean Edwin Eck of the School of Law.
Good morning. The School of Law is pleased to welcome you all, as well as two new tenure-track faculty. Elizabeth Kronk will be teaching environmental law and Indian law at our school, and Professor Andrew King Reese will be teaching criminal law.
Dean David Forbes, the College of Health Professions and Biomedical Sciences.
Good morning. Our college welcomes a number of new faculty. First, in the Department of Biomedical and Pharmaceutical Sciences, Tony Ward. Tony's not here this morning. In the Department of Pharmacy Practice, Kendra Keeley. In the School of Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation Sciences, our new chair, Reed Humphrey. At this time, I want to thank Professor Stephen Fair for all the work he's done as acting chair in that unit. See Steve over here. And in our public health program, Professor Amanda Golbeck. And our new chair and Professor Craig Molgard. And at this time, I want to thank Carrie Harris and all the university faculty from other units on campus that helped put together our public health program. Welcome and thank you.
Dean Barry Good, the College of Technology.
On behalf of the College of Technology, all the faculty and staff, we'd like to welcome you all back for the new academic year. The College of Technology has 3 new tenure-track faculty this year. One is Linda Eaglehart Thomas, who could not be here today. She's in Applied Arts and Sciences. She could not be here today because of a family medical obligation. Secondly, I'd like to introduce Ann Delaney in our Department of Health Professions. We're very glad to have Ann. Ann is actually our chairperson of the Department of Health Professions, as well as our Director of Radiologic Technology. And third, I'd like to introduce someone who is not in your program, but we're very, very fortunate to have. Her name is Carrie Miller. If Carrie, please stand. Carrie is our newest addition to our nursing program. Thank you.
Dean Bonnie Allen, the Mansfield Library.
The UM libraries can include the COT Library as well as Mansfield Library, with close ties to all the affiliate campuses. And we're happy to welcome Assistant Professor Kate Zollner, who comes to us from University of Michigan. Thank you.
Dean Sharon Alexander, Continuing Education and Summer Programs. Dean James McCusick, the Davidson Honors College. Dean David Strobel, the Graduate School. At this time, I'd also like to introduce Associate Provost Arlene Walker Andrews. Next, we want to recognize faculty members who have received special recognition during the past academic year. To the faculty members, please stand as I read your name and remain standing until all are recognized. And to the other members of the audience, please hold your applause until all the people to be recognized in that group have been mentioned. The following faculty members have been awarded tenure this year. Elizabeth Crone, Ecosystem and Conservation Sciences. Wade Davies, Native American Studies. Elizabeth Dove, Art. Ray Eckness, Radio Television. Ann Garfinkel, Communication and Instruction. John Gerdes, Biomedical and Pharmaceutical Sciences. John Goodburn, Forest Management. Sarah Halverson, Geography. Neva Hassanin, Environmental Studies. Colin Henderson, Applied Arts and Sciences. Keith Jacob, Accounting and Finance. Kathleen Kane, English. Michael Kavanaugh, Biomedical and Pharmaceutical Sciences. Kimber McKay, Anthropology. Yanine Monabon, Modern and Classical Languages and Literatures. Marianne Papanak Miller, Art. Steve Schwartz, Communication Studies. Tom Seekins, Psychology. Wendy Shields, Psychology. Thomas Stanton, Business Technology. Let's all acknowledge their achievements. Thank you. Now we'll recognize the faculty members who were promoted during the last year. Again, please stand as I read your name and also hold your applause until all the faculty members are standing. First, those who were promoted to full professor. Paul Alaback, Forest Management. David Beck, Native American Studies. Carol Brewer, Division of Biological Sciences. Casey Charles, English. Michael de Grand Prix, Chemistry. Laura Dibdahl, Health and Human Performance. John Elgin, History. Eric Green, Division of Biological Sciences. Stephen Graymorning, Anthropology. Brady Harrison, English. Joel Henry, Computer Science. Christopher Knight, English. Robert Ledbetter, Music. David Opitz, Computer Science. Barbara Ryder, Accounting and Finance. Please join me in acknowledging these faculty members. Next, we want to recognize faculty members who were promoted to Associate Professor. Karen Adams, Political Science. Nicole Bradley Browning, Drama Dance. Blakely Brown, Health and Human Performance. Fernando Cardarzo Pilaz, Biomedical and Pharmaceutical Sciences. Bruce Costa, Accounting and Finance. Elizabeth Crone, Ecosystem and Conservation Sciences. Wade Davies, Native American Studies. Merle Ferrier, Educational Leadership and Counseling. John Goodburn, Forest Management. Keith Jacob, Accounting and Finance. Kimber McKay, Anthropology. Yanine Monauban, Modern and Classical Languages and Literatures. Adam Nyman, Mathematical Sciences. Yolanda Reimer, Computer Science. John Summers Flanagan, Educational Leadership and Counseling. Bharath Sriraman, Mathematical Sciences. Teresa Tamura, Print Journalism. Sherry Venema, Print Journalism. Karen Volkman, English. Stephen Yoshimura, Communication Studies. Please join me in acknowledging these faculty members. We also want to recognize faculty who were promoted in the College of Technology. Mary Nielsen in Health Professions was promoted to Level 3. Let's please acknowledge her accomplishment. We welcome all new faculty, and we thank all returning faculty recognized today for their accomplishments, and we wish all faculty, new and returning, every success in the future. Thank you, and Dr. Walker Andrews.
In an article published in Innovative Higher Education in fall 2003, George M. Dennison noted that this nation attained its enviable world position because of the commitment to public higher education, and that the public at large benefits most from an educated and engaged citizenry, a productive labor force, increased tax revenues, and the economic and cultural development stimulated by the creativity and productivity resulting from the research and training higher education provides. He knows and practices what he preaches. President Dennison has a long and prestigious record in higher education. He received his bachelor's degree with highest honors in history from the University of Montana in 1962, his master's a year later, and then earned his PhD in history from the University of Washington in 1967. He started as a history professor at Colorado State and has held administrative positions at several universities, including the Office of Vice President for Academic Affairs, that is, Provost, at Western Michigan. He has been president at the University of Montana since August of 1990. The University of Montana has grown in size and stature during those years. The number of enrolled students has grown from 10,055 to more than 13,600. Research funding has increased from $7 million to over $68 million. Graduate programs have been put into place, and we have attained new Carnegie status as the number of PhD recipients has grown from about a dozen each year in the early 1990s to more than 60 in 2004-2005. This growth has been accomplished by the hard work of faculty and staff across campus, with the president setting the stage for that success. There are a host of new programs and initiatives that have been proposed by faculty and staff, as well as numerous opportunities to respond to community requests. I am sure that many of these will be mentioned today and in the months to come. I have only recently come to know President George Dennison, but I feel that the University of Montana is fortunate to have a president with strong academic credentials, a powerful intellect, and the desire to make this university one of the best in the nation. He clearly articulates some of the newer ideas in education, not necessarily adopting them all, but giving each due consideration. He brings knowledge of things tried and things achieved to the debate. I found a description of university teaching in one of President Dennison's early publications. University teaching was undergoing a transformation as revolutionary as the changes occurring in society at large. Men began to insist that a college education be directed towards developing the students, allowing them to realize their full potential. This is his description of what was happening at Harvard and Yale in the 1870s during the time of Henry Adams. Perhaps we can indeed learn from history and from historians. I am pleased to present to you the President of the University of Montana, George Dennison.
Thank you very much. Good morning, and thank you all very much for attending today. Convocations opening the academic year offer the opportunity to recognize new members of the academic community and also those continuing members who have earned honors of some sort. This year, for the first time, this event will appear through streaming video across the state and the nation, so I urge all of you to sit up, please, and recognize that the camera is coming. More importantly, we have the opportunity to introduce these new people and these outstanding performers to the entire community at large in the state. On behalf of the entire campus community, I extend a hearty welcome to the new people and high admiration to those of you who have earned tenure and promotion. Now, as I walked across campus this morning to come to the Montana Theater, I had to avoid a number of people who I knew were looking for Rolling Stones tickets. What a stir this upcoming visit has caused the community and across the state and really through the region. A friend explained to me this way. Typically, we all want to see a famous group before we die. In this instance, we want to see them before they die. Unfortunately, because of a prior commitment, I had to decline an invitation to appear as the opening act. But so it goes, so it goes. Now on to the task at hand. I want to take a few minutes at the outset to introduce new members of the administration. If they will please rise as I introduce them and remain standing, I'll ask you to recognize them with applause after the introductions. As I believe everyone knows, I have assumed the position of interim provost and vice president for academic affairs, pending the outcome of a national search now in progress, and I'm standing. This dual responsibility, however, works only because of the outstanding performance of Associate Provost Jim Staub and Arlene Walker Andrews, whom I hope you'll help me recognize right now. Thank you. Bonnie Allen came to the campus in July from Oregon State University to assume the position of Dean of Libraries. Her expertise and broad experience have enabled her to take charge immediately. A person who couldn't be here today, Claudia Dinker, a graduate of the University of Montana School of Law and formerly in private practice, has accepted appointment as Associate Legal Counsel and Research Compliance Officer. She will help us make certain that we fulfill the vastly complicated compliance regulations and requirements. Another person who really doesn't need much introduction, but whom it's a great pleasure to introduce, Roberta Evans, or Bobby as we all know her, has accepted the position as interim dean of the School of Education. She's well experienced, having performed those duties for 3 years in the past. Barry Good, formerly a vice president of a community college in West Virginia, joined us in July as dean of the College of Technology. And only days after his arrival, he facilitated conversations to explore an expanding role for the college in Missoula and Ravalli counties and about dual enrollment opportunities for high school students. Keith Kuhn, while not technically a university appointee, joined the University of Montana Foundation in late spring as the Chief Financial and Operations Officer. He brings a new perspective and a vast range of experience from the private sector that holds great promise for the foundation and the university. David Mikas, most recently Associate Registrar of MIT, joined us as University Registrar in July, replacing Phil Bain, who retired to spend time with his grandchildren. David has served in a number of institutions, has intimate familiarity with the Banner systems, and has taken on some assignments to enhance the services we provide to students. Mark Pulliam has replaced Jim Darcy as Director of Business Services. He most recently served as Director of Finance for Fayette County, Georgia. You will not mistake him for a New Yorker. And as Associate Vice President of Finance and Business Services of Rowan Cabarrus Community College in North Carolina. In a word, he has the range of experience we need in this position. Rick Thomas, I don't know if Rick's here today, formerly Senior Director of Development for the University of Montana Foundation, recently accepted promotion to Vice President for Development for the Foundation following a national search. He has 15 years of experience and knows the university and its programs very well after 1 year in his former position. Let's recognize these new administrators. During 2005-06, the university maintained the momentum attained in prior years, thanks to the quality, creativity, responsiveness, and dedication, all of those things, of the faculty and staff. You make it go. Now, I want to cite some of the accomplishments that will support that statement. During the year, we secured approval of an Irish Studies minor and hosted the President of Ireland to announce its establishment, implemented the MS in Information Systems, established the Central and Southwest Asian Studies minor, and hosted once again a national conference on Central Asian Studies, changed the single major in business administration to individual majors in several business administration disciplines, implemented the new major, or the new Master of Public Health program using distance education technology, and the MS option in International Resource Management. And finally, implemented 3 new training programs to place people in good-paying jobs. We also maintained a balanced budget, sustained the quality of the academic experience for students, and restrained tuition and fee increases below the national average. To fulfill our mandate to educate qualified Montanans who accept the challenge, we initiated the IMPACT program, Montana Partnering for Affordable Tuition, consisting of a combination of grants and loans, to assure that cost does not prevent median income family students from participating in higher education. In this trial year, with no advance notice to potential students, we attracted more than 130 qualified applicants. Early returns indicate the potential for up to 70 acceptances, a total that more than doubles the number of similarly situated students who managed in the past to attend without assistance. We will work with the Regents and the Schweitzer administration to take the program system-wide. However, I believe we must continue it for this campus, whatever the outcome of the system effort. Now that potential students know of the program and its promise of access to higher education for those in need of assistance if they prepare themselves and accept the responsibility to do well, I have full confidence that the numbers will increase. Simultaneously, and with the assistance provided by the Regents, Governor, Legislature, and the University of Montana Foundation donors, we offered scholarships to and received acceptances from more than 5,300 high achievement applicants, a larger number than any time in the history of this institution. During the homecoming celebration last September, in collaboration with the University of Montana Foundation, we publicly announced a comprehensive campaign entitled Invest in Discovery, Connecting People, Programs, and Place, to raise $100 million from private donors to support the university's faculty, students, and programs. To date, we have pledges and actual receipts in excess of $84 million, more than any Montana educational institution has ever raised in a campaign, and we plan to complete the campaign successfully by the end of December 2007. As a component of the campaign, under the leadership of Professor Dan Pletcher, we established the fully endowed John Craighead Chair of Wildlife Biology at $2.5 million that recognizes a former member of the faculty identified as one of the 100 preeminent scientists of the 20th century. In addition, with Dan's help, we must raise another $3 million to match the $3 million already committed by the Boone and Crockett Club for a total endowment of $6 million to support the Boone and Crockett Chair in Wildlife Biology, and that by December 2007. With the assistance of private donors, we initiated the construction of Don Anderson Hall for the School of Journalism. $11 million, all private donations, thanks to the tireless work of Dean Jerry Brown, who incidentally has announced that he intends to return to the faculty on 30 June 2007. He's probably tired. And the expansion of the Skaggs Building for the College of Health Professions and Biomedical Sciences, $14 million, a mix of federal, institutional, and private funds with the leadership of Dean Dave Forbes, both scheduled for completion in early spring of 2007. We developed a plan for the construction of new facilities for the College of Technology at Fort Missoula, with a separate facility in Hamilton to serve the Bitterroot community and a storefront in downtown area of Missoula to serve the needs of business and industry, subject to approval by the region's governor and legislature. In addition, we've made good progress on the deferred maintenance projects I outlined last year. While we have more to do, we will see the benefits of this work during the coming years, thanks to Vice President Bob Duringer and the facility services staff. Faculty researchers during the year generated in excess of $66 million in new grant awards, the second highest amount ever recorded for the university. The impact of Hurricane Katrina and the Iraq War has slowed the momentum somewhat, but we expect to return to the upward trend this coming year. The successful proposals include, and I'm not going to mention all, but some examples, a multi-year $9.5 million renewal of the university's first Center for Biomedical Research Excellence grant under the leadership of Professor Rich Bridges, an interdisciplinary graduate education and research training grant focused on infectious disease of $3.2 million over 5 years from NSF, led by Professors Bill Holben, Carol Brewer, and Mary Poss, and a Howard Hughes undergraduate science education grant of $1.5 million over 4 years, secured by a team led by Professors Bill Holben and Carol Brewer. Because of the work of Dean Sharon Alexander and some engaged community members, the university received a grant of $300,000 over 3 years from the Osher Foundation for the establishment of a lifelong learning institute in Missoula with a branch in Hamilton, and the commitment of $1 million endowment if we successfully mount the program within 3 years. We maintained or received initial accreditation of all programs subject to accreditation. We made significant progress toward implementing outcomes assessment of our general education program, relying upon embedded assessment techniques. We developed and have now to implement to enhance our retention and graduation rates some programs that we identified during the year. And we also found a major campus problem in the increasing incidence of mental health issues among the student population. The problem exists on virtually all campuses across the country, not just in Missoula. But we have secured the assistance, part-time assistance of a psychiatrist to help us respond to this particular problem. Finally, and there are others, I could go on at great length, we recently learned that the Princeton Review's annual publication listing the 361 best colleges, that's the title, will include the University of Montana, and that the U.S. News and World Report annual ranking will place the University of Montana in the third tier of national universities, as in prior years. We can do better. At the same time, we overcame some significant challenges during the year. The one that attracted the most media attention concerned a grant from NASA for work related to commercialization of space technology, access to and potential research use of the International Space Station, and outreach to the public schools to encourage young people to pursue education and careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The press coverage came in the wake of allegations of conflict of interest against the former Vice President of Research and Development on this campus. And those allegations had to do with his activities on a campus in Texas after he left us. Following internal reviews and an audit by the Legislative Audit Division, we have not identified any actual conflicts that occurred here, but we have revised several of our policies to provide better documentation of the ways that we manage potential conflicts of interest in the future. Another challenge that merits attention resulted from the lower than anticipated enrollments of Montana resident students and our failure to meet our enrollment targets for the summer of 2005. The Montana legislature, for those of you who don't know, requires a reversion of all funds appropriated above the total warranted by the number of actually enrolled students, since the state provides roughly 40% of the cost of educating a Montana resident student. Because we did not achieve the enrollment estimates, we had to reduce our budget for the unrealized tuition and general fund support for those expected students who did not enroll or left the university during the year, amounting to some $3 million. We accomplished this difficult task by relying on the contingency fund established a few years ago for just such an occasion, and by reducing some of our expected expenditures for last year and this coming year. By addressing the enrollment issues, we can prevent a recurrence of the problem. Our admission reports and enrollment projections for this fall, supported by the highest number of residence hall applicants in overflow housing since 1995, suggest that we will not encounter the same problem this year. Nonetheless, we must remain vigilant and deliver what we promise to students. If we do not, they will not come, or they will leave in disillusionment. As we probed the enrollment issues, we found a significant number of currently enrolled students registering for online courses with the resultant credits never appearing on our enrollment reports. Moreover, the currently enrolled students who opt for online courses pay separately for them, even if their on-campus registrations place them above the so-called flat spot, allowing them to take more credits at no increase in cost. In addition, Montana resident students who enroll online and never come to campus receive no state support, but they pay the same mandatory fees as on-campus students. I've appointed a task force to develop a strategy to develop or to integrate these online registrations into our regular enrollment and registration processes, and to propose a rational fee structure for consideration by the regents. As we move into the 21st century, commonly referred to as the information age, we must seize the opportunities to make better use of information technology for the enhancement of the educational experiences and in response to the preferences of students. Successful engagement will help us to achieve enrollment targets, provide incentives for the appropriate use of online technology to enhance our educational offerings, and improve our balance sheet. Let me talk a little bit about the coming biennium after this next year. As we contemplate the outcome of the election this fall and the opening of the next session of the Montana legislature in January 2007, I believe we have reason for optimism. The regents have adopted system initiatives relating to transfer of credit within the system, tuition stabilization, need-based financial aid for Montana residents, distance education, and the education and training of healthcare professionals and technicians. In addition, the regents have proposed a number of construction and renovation projects, including construction of appropriate facilities for the College of Technology, expansion of the School of Law building, and equipment for Anderson Hall. Funding for these latter projects will undoubtedly depend on whether the state adopts a bonding program, a decision not yet announced by the governor. However, we do have alternative plans to complete the law school and Anderson Hall projects in the absence of a bonding program. Finally, the regents have authorized campus initiatives that will require a tuition increase of 0.5%, a modest increment that can make a wonderful difference for us. Perhaps as an omen of things to come, both political parties have agreed that the rising tuition burden for Montana residents has begun to threaten access, especially for the children of median-income families. In response, both have promulgated proposals that will either moderate tuition increases or reduce existing rates by appropriating more general funds. That strikes me as a significant potential development for Montanans aspiring to go to college and for all Montanans. In addition, we've had very fruitful discussions with the Schweitzer administration concerning what are called present law adjustments. That's a budgeteer's term of art that refers to specific budget increases to deal with inflation and other known cost changes beyond our control. However, the emergence of a movement to adopt a constitutional amendment, CI 97, arbitrarily limiting increases in state expenditures has the potential to derail all of the progress made to date, as experience in Colorado with a similar provision indicates. I will return to this topic a little later. Finally, the state's ending fund balance, projected for 30 June 2007, currently substantial, but the subject of considerable debate about its reliability as a foundation for base budget increases, offers at least the potential for some one-time only funds to address pressing needs that do not require ongoing funding. Of course, we will have to await the outcome of the election and the session before we have any certainty about the level of state support, but prospects matter, I submit, in this case. In closing, I want to outline some of the priorities as I see them for the coming year. 1, participate actively, and I underscore that, in the effort to educate the public about the negative potential for higher education if the voters approve CI 97, the proposed constitutional amendment arbitrarily limiting state expenditures. I consider success in this effort of education as the highest priority for the University of Montana and for all of Montana education. Second, implement fully the new policies and procedures adopted by the regents to assure transfer of credit. The regents and the governor and the public rank this very high on their list of priorities, and we must make transfer of credit as convenient as possible for students, since we have a large number of transfer students every year. Third, finalize the reform and assessment of our general education program, utilizing embedded assessment of identified learning outcomes, as well as establishing the grade for any individual course. Over this summer, a group of faculty met and agreed upon an approach that has great potential to satisfy external concerns while simultaneously addressing our effort to enhance the academic experience of students. Fourth, develop for consideration by the regents a revised set of mountain campus admission standards for implementation on a prospective date that will help potential students make good decisions about enrollment, whether directly on the mountain campus or transfer from a community college or a college of technology. The excellent analytical work of Professor Jim Jacobs, physics, provides a solid foundation for this effort. Fifth, continue to develop the array of online courses and programs in response to identified needs. Current offerings include the courses that comprise the Master of Public Health, the Master of Education Curriculum and Instruction, and Master of Public Administration programs. The preparatory business courses required for admission to the MBA program for students with bachelor's degrees in other disciplines, and a host of individual academic and training courses. 6, complete the ongoing effort to integrate online and on-campus registrations for budgeting, funding, and payment purposes, and promulgate an approved fee structure that makes sense for students and the universities, scheduled for completion in January 2007. Implement the programs we've outlined to enhance our retention and graduation rates. It makes little sense to bring students here if we don't retain them and graduate them. Part of the responsibility is theirs, part of the responsibility is ours. That would include the proposed sophomore seminars and the effective early warning system for students at academic risk. Continue the excellent progress in attracting non-resident students by sustaining the quality of the academic experience and targeting our recruitment efforts. 9, continue the impact program. I've described this before. In my view, this program has tremendous potential to make a difference in the lives of young people and the economy of the state of Montana. But success requires perseverance, We must allow these young people to have enough notice and to have enough certainty that the incentive will still be there if they do well in college, and then it will work. 10th, attract more external funds to support graduate education and research. In a word, get back on track, pushing the new grant award total above $72 million for FY 2007. Dan Dwyer waits every year for that number so that he can get started on it. 11th, develop and implement a plan to ameliorate the burden of non-resident tuition for graduate assistants working on funded research projects. 12, secure approval of and establish the proposed Center for Biomolecular Structure and Dynamics, including faculty researchers from the Division of Biological Sciences and the Departments of Chemistry and Biomedical and Pharmaceutical Sciences. 13, develop and deliver through the College of Technology at least 3 new customized training programs to get people into new jobs by July of 2007, identifying the programs by reference to the ongoing survey of needs and delivering them where the needs exist, rather than insisting that they come to us. 14, secure approval of at least 3 new graduate programs, including a PhD in resource engineering jointly with Butte, an interdisciplinary PhD in water resource management, and a BS and MS in speech-language pathology. 15, complete the construction of and secure equipment for Anderson Hall and the expanded Skaggs building. 16, complete planning for the facilities of the College of Technology at Fort Missoula, but with branch facilities in downtown Missoula and in Hamilton. And we need to complete, or plan to complete, that construction by 2009. 17, begin the construction of the interdisciplinary science building and complete that within the next 2 years. With the assistance of the foundation, as 18, identify the funds to construct the Gilkey Center for Executive Education. We have $3 million of 5 in hand. The Washington Education Center, we have $3 million of 6 in hand. The Native American Center, we have $1 million plus of 6 in hand. The Montana Museum of Art and Culture facility, we're planning that now. The Alumni and Development Center, planning funds in hand. And the College of Forestry and Conservation building, planning funds in hand. And begin the expansion and renovation of the School of Law building. We have $7 million of the needed 11 in hand. 19, sustain the momentum in the comprehensive campaign and raise the total of commitments and received dollars to $100 million or more by July 2007, so we have some additional room to grow until December. Implement the planned dual enrollment programs for high school students in Missoula and Hamilton during spring semester 2007. 22, become more efficient and effective in the use of available resources for academic programs, specifically by developing further the 2+2 engineering program with the Butte campus and a nursing completer baccalaureate for delivery in Helena and Missoula. 23, make the campus even more user-friendly for students and others seeking our services. 22, I'm on 24 now. Identify and implement at least 2 more best practices for efficiency and effectiveness, allowing us to reallocate savings. And finally, we want to implement the new marketing and branding strategies to position the university competitively, because believe me, the competition continues to become keen. I want to take a moment now to pre-screen 3 television and streaming spots with you that you will see as we open the fall.
The students in the orchestra come from all walks of life. Months of preparation, many late nights. When the curtain goes up, it's electric. Music helps us convey thoughts and feelings that we can't express with words. The orchestra is an elaborate machine. The strings, the winds, the percussion. Each individual working together to create one voice. Some of our students go on to professional careers. Some could become the next Andres Segovia, Yo-Yo Ma, Placido Domingo. The applause of the audience makes all the hard work worthwhile.
I came from England to the University of Montana, another world-class institution. Technology is the backbone of everything around us. Fastly changing, constantly evolving. We are pushing beyond. With technology, you can be everywhere, all of the time. Here we are fostering skills for life, bringing together cultures and communities, illuminating minds, achieving dreams, bringing the future within reach. I'm as inspired by my students as they are by me. Where is it all going? We will be among the first to know. The University of Montana, opening doors to infinite possibilities.
When I was growing up, scientists were heroes. I want to get kids excited about careers in science again. My students call me Gee Whiz because science is the tools of a wizard. Because science is wonder, power to make a difference. I became a scientist because I wanted to make a difference. I want to make a difference in my life, but I want to teach students how to make a difference in theirs. The University of Montana, we have internationally known research groups in many different areas. These that can detect bombs and landmines, cleaning up pollutants from the air. I always dreamed of saving the world, and now I am. The University of Montana.
Thank you. Those are the first three. There will be others, and we will feature faculty, students, and programs across the campus as we roll these in and out of using the ads. So in conclusion, thank you for your commitment to the mission of the University of Montana and to public higher education. I begin my 17th year in this position with great enthusiasm and excitement about our collective vision of a university for the 21st century. And I look forward to working together with all of you for the continued development of the University of Montana. Have a great year and enjoy it as you do. Thank you.